Firstly, Alaa, thank you so very much for doing this session. Now, I think our listeners should know that when we started planning this podcast, that is the race-based podcast, we thought of interviewing top-tier athletes like yourself, and your name, Alaa, was in the top-tier list of athletes. But at that point of time, we were a bit nervous and we did not want to get right into it because you're an absolute beast. So we took our time to build a confidence and refine our approach. Now that we have you here, it is an absolute honor to have you on a podcast. So thank you so very much, brother, for doing this session. I wanted to check, how does it feel to know that you're among the top three athletes that we wanted to interview and kind of inspired us to start this podcasting journey as well?
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I'm really humbled to be here. I can't call myself a beast. If you like to call me a beast, that's a fantastic thing to know. I mean, I say this every time. I do this for me more than anything else. And I keep pushing myself. And I'm glad that I'm inspiring, and I'm glad that I'm on your top three. That feels freaking awesome. Super happy.
That's absolutely great to know. Now, before we start, Alaa, just wanted to check, how is your day going on so far?
Listen, it's Friday. It's almost end of the day. Super excited. It's gonna be a busy weekend. So yeah, it feels good. It feels good. Yeah, there are things happening this weekend.
That's great. And how is your week going on?
A week is good, man. I mean, at the office, we've been very busy. It's been a hectic week. Now Ramadan is here, so like working hours are best, but we have a few projects that we want to finish, and I've never had such a busy schedule in my life. Like, I'm trying to accomplish so many things at the same time, and train, and spend time with the family, and go pick up the kids, and life, it's good.
And I definitely have a few questions regarding, what you do for work as well, because what you're doing is something really unique. Now, before we get into that, Alaa, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself? And am I right in saying that you've been in UAE for well over 2 decades?
You can say 3 decades. Yeah,
Okay.
more. So I'm an old fart. Let's put it this way. Okay, so listen, born in '83 in Syria. I'm originally from Syria. We stayed there for 2 years. The family then left, and we came to the UAE in 1988. So ever since, now it's 2024, and so it's more than 30 years. So yeah, I've seen it grow from nothing to whatever it is right now, which is great.
That's absolutely fantastic. And look, Alaa, you're an absolute beast, particularly when it comes to fitness. And you have, if not one of the best Instagram videos. And what I'll do is, on the show notes, I'll go ahead and mention your Instagram IDs and stuff, because I'm pretty much sure listeners would love to watch what you're doing in the Instagram space. Now, let's talk about your fitness journey. Let's start with obstacle course race, and then I'd like to talk about hybrid fitness. Now, to our listeners, can you tell us about your journey in obstacle course race? How has your journey been so far?
Well, so far, so I started with so first of all, I used to break dance. Let's put it this way. So back when I was a teenager, my base was breakdancing. So I used to compete. Me and my brothers were like the top. We're 6 boys, by the way, in the family. So the oldest 3, we used to break dance together in the house, break things, break our bones, and on the head, and do all this stuff. We used to compete as well, and we were quite known in back in the days. We've won a few competitions. There's a video on YouTube that I posted. It's all called Akawi Brothers or Akawi OBB team or something. I can give you a link. It's very bad quality, by the way, because back in the days, the Nokia phones did not have the HD camera that
true, yeah, very true.
on this phone. But so yeah, because I've always been into sports, I've been into this fitness thingy. Then later on, it became bodybuilding. I would say OCR started only in 2015. It's when Spartan Race came to Dubai for the first time. I think it was a Jabal Ali course, and we didn't know what that is. My brother told me, listen, there is this race. let's go for it. It's like running with obstacles. I wasn't a runner even. Like when I used to run 3K in half an hour, I'm so happy. You know, and so we finished that. It was, I think, a sprint that we did, and we finished it in like an hour 20 minutes, and we felt we've accomplished something great. And I remember like the feeling like. We thought the desert was an obstacle by itself. We're like, what do you mean obstacle race? The desert itself is an obstacle. But yeah, I mean, from there, listen, we've been doing lots of OCRs. So back to your question, is just my journey started 2015, but today I'm doing a lot less OCR than I used to before. The last OCR event was, I think, during Ramadan 2 years ago. It was a Spartan night. And there is a reason why I stopped, but we can talk about this later if you want.
Absolutely, we'll definitely want to delve into that. Now, regarding breakdancing, I very specifically remember, I think it was in Spartan Race, if I'm not mistaken, where they had guys playing some music. It was the African theme they were playing, and you were doing some breakdancing over there, right?
Dude, just put some music and I'll start popping. Like, ooh, come on, bring it, let's go. Yeah,
Now,
I couldn't help myself.
yeah, one question what I wanted to ask regarding the first ever Spartan race obstacle course race in the Middle East that was in Jebel Ali. How did you find out about it, and what was the initial reaction before doing that particular event?
Listen, it was the talk of the town. It was always like, there's this new race. Everyone is talking about, like, there's this big thing that is Spartan. It's like where you get these warriors and stuff. So we didn't know what to expect. No training whatsoever, like. So we just went there. The experience was, okay, there are obviously, like everybody that does an OCR race, there are 3 levels of the experience. Before the race, anxiety, excitement, is mixed feelings. During the race, thinking, why on earth am I doing this? And then after the race, when is the next race? I want to do it again.
Very
So,
true.
so I've lived that during the first race, and I wanted to do another one later on. And I remember, I think that there was another one after it in Abu Dhabi. Sadly, I couldn't go. My brother went, and it was the super. It was 10K. And I remember telling him, are you insane? You want to run 10K? We couldn't finish 5K. You want to go double it? And he finished it, obviously. And then it got me thinking, I was like, I can do it. If he can do it, then anybody can.
And I can very confidently state that so far as obstacle course race is concerned, you are kind of like an obstacle specialist as well. Because the way how you used to do the obstacle, it is definitely at a different level. I wanted to ask Alaa, what has been your overall experience in the world of obstacle course race? Tell us about the good, the bad, and the ugly side of obstacle course racing.
So I would say, listen, the good is always, it was a nice community. The people made it super exciting for us to go and enjoy these races. So and the opportunities to travel and enjoy these races in different locations was just fantastic. It was a nice switch from reality. The bad, I wouldn't say the bad. I mean, there wasn't something bad about the races. Sometimes it's just it comes down to personal choices and personal taste of where is the race, location, timing. That's just all personal stuff. Like, it's just preferences. But I could say the ugly is the standards of the race and the judging standards and if I talk about myself, whatever I do in life, I do it to the rule. So I follow the rules, and I don't like cheating. I don't like cut corners. So while other people go in and just want to enjoy themselves, and I understand that that's all cool, but then when I used to go in obstacle races and go in the open categories, I don't mind if anybody wants to have fun, cut corners, whatever. I mean, you're here to enjoy yourself. But the minute you want to go put that red band and you want to compete, you better stick by the rules.
Exactly. Yeah.
Win fair and square. And I started seeing in obstacle races, especially in the Spartan races, that people are lenient. You put a blind side to the rules, and like like you see people don't do the spear and they keep running, and it's like, come on, I mean, I missed the spear. I better do 30 burpees, or like, I mean, so small things, and that's when I mentioned in the last race, which is in Ramadan. That was for me like, okay, enough is enough. I'm honestly trying to follow every rule in the book, and I see people just skipping obstacles, and then they stand on the podium, they're super happy. I won. Oh no, you just cheated yourself.
True.
So that's why I stopped doing Spartan races or obstacle races.
What
But
you
it
have
has,
said.
but it has been a very fun journey, to be honest. Like I would say it changed my fitness beliefs, or the fitness journey, fitness mindset altogether. It's really good.
Well, what you're saying is absolutely spot on, and a lot of the elite athletes, they definitely echo exactly what you're saying. And what I've noticed is that a lot of them who are very serious and do it with integrity, they have switched on to other areas. So what you're saying is, something which race directors and event organizers should definitely take it on board. Now, Ala, I've seen your different obstacle course race events. I've seen you even at Tough Mudder, even at Ice Warrior Challenge, and even at Desert Warrior Challenge. Is there a specific event that stands out to you, and is it something memorable for you?
See, okay, we always thought that Desert Warrior, if I'm being honest, was the most fun.
Yes.
And when I say fun, because the obstacles in it, they change. They're not the same. And like I remember one of those races, we had to swim, and we had to just go under. I don't know, like it was insane. Um, while in Spartan races, there are standards, and it depends on the category where you. Okay, do we have the Hercules hoist, or we have the Atlas stone, whatever we have, but we know what they have. In Desert Warrior, it was different. So I used to enjoy Desert Warrior up until last race we've done, where I was doing the monkey bars, and then the bars fell while I was doing them, and I was like, "Come on, guys, this is what's happening. The obstacles are becoming a hurdle all of a sudden." So that was, I think, the last one, but they never made anything after it.
Yeah.
Ice Warrior, listen, Ice Warrior is interesting. I would recommend it to anybody to do it once, but then it's either you like it or you don't. I did not fancy the ice experience much. It was too slippery for my liking. I think if you need to do it, you need to invest in proper gear for it, and footwear mainly. Because I've seen people get hurt really bad when they slip and they break their back and all. So it's not really for everybody, but it's a fun race. It was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it when I did it. I've done it only once. I didn't want to do it again. Tough Mudder, I tried it once, and it's not for me, because Tough Mudder, I'm mainly in solo races. Tough Mudder is more about group.
Yeah.
So and luckily, when I did the Tough Mudder, I used to always go to Spartan races or like any obstacle races with my brother, my older brother. We don't see each other throughout the year. We only meet during like obstacle races. So luckily we were together, and then there were obstacles where it's impossible for you to do alone. So you have to have the help of someone else. So I didn't really understand how you could be competitive in these races. So I was like, done it, tried it, not for me. And did I miss anything else? So those are the three other races.
Yeah. The main ones. Yeah.
Yeah, the Spartan races, they are what they are, and they're nice.
Now, I know the answer to the next one, but if you had to pick, let's say, between Desert Warrior Challenge, Tough Mudder, and Spartan Race or Ice Warrior Challenge, which one would you pick if you have to do it for one last time?
I would pick a Spartan, even though I think you might think that I was going to say Desert Warrior, but I would pick a Spartan race.
Oh, that's really interesting. Now, Ala, let's travel back in time. And I think our listeners should definitely listen to this part. There's something called as Project 1959, an
Oh,
IG
yes.
post that you mentioned on 18th of December 2020. Can you tell our listeners what it is? What gave you the motivation? And what was the journey and the outcome?
Okay, so I have this crazy friend. Her name is Ghada. And Ghada, when you see this, yes, it's because of you I did this race, this freaking project. So the idea is you run a 5K under 20 minutes, right? So that's why it's Project 1959. And back then I used to train with George Crew. He was my running coach. And obviously George got excited. He's like, yeah, definitely, mate, this is for you. And listen, back then my 5K time was, my best 5K run was 23 minutes, 50 something seconds, right? So I need to shave off at least 4 minutes to beat that sub 20 target. And yeah, from that project was insane because we had like 3 months and we need to achieve that, or 2 months maybe. We need to achieve, no, it's 3 months, and we need to achieve that goal. I gotta be honest, it was tough, but it's doable. Trained so hard for that. Like we had lots of easy runs where you run at math pace. Math pace being at like maximum aerobic functionality, which is your 180 minus your age. That's the heart rate where you need to run. And then you need to run for like longer this time, and at least 40 minutes. Then you have to have your tempo runs, and you have to have your track sessions. Now, tempo run is it's not technically your track speed, because your track sessions are shorter and they're faster, but how long can you hold at less, I mean, lesser pace than your tempo, than your track on a tempo run for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you repeat it 2-3 times. According to George, it was always, let's build the engine, and if you have the engine, then speed will come a lot easier. And after 3 months, we went for a time trial, and I failed.
Yeah.
I remember, I failed it. But I got 20 minutes, 19 seconds. So that 19 seconds, I would say 20 seconds, because you need to be under 20 minutes, was just killing me. I remember we ran with another coach from Inner Fight. He was the pacer, and he was pacing the group. We were like 5 of us or something. And then just towards the last kilometer, I ran out of gas. And I couldn't keep up with the guys, probably because I went too hot at the beginning, and I thought I can do this. But then there's something you learn every day. But then we trained for another 2 months, and I went back again on the sketcher race down in Medan. And guess what? I did it in 20 minutes, 2 seconds. You know how that kills you from the inside? It's like, come on, 3 seconds. And then I remember the last time I tried, it was after summer break. And it wasn't planned. It was a regular track session. George Crew tells me, listen, we're going to do a 5K trial. You have Flo as your pacer. It was me, George B, and George Blackwell and Flo. And the day before it, I had trained my legs, heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, and my legs were sore as, like, I'm not gonna say bad words, but
Yeah.
sore as that. Okay, and then yeah, and we went for it. I did not think about anything else other than, hey, focus on the goal, follow Flow. And I was running on the outside. I remember we were on the track, and then I'm running on the outside, and there were people running. So every time I would like take the outskirt and just try to come back in. And I hit that 5K before them. And when I hit it, I looked at the watch. I was like, hey, I made it. We're still in the 19 minutes. Keep going. Keep going. And yeah, that day I did the 5K of in 19 minutes, 19 seconds, 19 minutes, 19 seconds, something like that.
So
It was
by
just,
40 seconds, you smashed it. That is a brilliant achievement, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. And then, the story doesn't end here. As a result of that, 3 months later, I tried the 10K time trial. And then again, in the 10K, I beat I crushed the 5K under 20 minutes as well. So I remember it was 19 minutes 30 something when I hit the 5K mark.
Okay.
And then I finished the 10K in 39 minutes, 19 seconds as well. That was
That's a great
insane.
achievement too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was insane.
And that is
So,
definitely shows, what resilience is all about. And the way how I'm looking at your Instagram post is, whenever there's a failure, not only are you just accepting it, you're working on it and building on it. And keeping that in mind, Allah, what advice or message do you have for people who have similar target and they fall short?
listen, um, I think everybody out there should really believe in themselves. I think, and people should stop listening to what other people are saying. And it's not about other people. I used to always compare myself to others, and something that I keep doing. But sometimes I do it because I want to push myself as a target. So when I look at other people, I'm like, okay, I need to target this person so I can beat them or be better at certain things than them. So that's how it works. The problem is people start to compare themselves to hire more athletes that are like way above their level, and then they look at it as a mission impossible.
Yeah.
But then that's a problem, and I think people need to just set out short-term targets that are achievable, and every time you achieve that target, then you look at, okay, so what's the next level? So if you're running a 5K in like 40 minutes, don't go out there and say, I want to join the 1959 club. It's not going to work. You're setting yourself to failure before you even do anything. What you need to say is, I need to hit that 29:59 club, because from 40 to half an hour, yes, let's talk about that and let's take it step by step. And I think what people are afraid of is the pain, and they don't want to go through this, because we as human, like, we're always in our comfort zone. Anything goes beyond the comfort zone is uncomfortable, and we don't like it. So
True.
we get a taste of it. We feel the pain. Now you're in that zone where, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to develop yourself further? Or are you going to go back to complaining mode? The ball is in your court. And I think people just really, it's a small percentage of people that see the light at the end of the tunnel and endure the pain. I mean, listen, I just told you about the 10K race. In that 10K race, I remember the pain that I felt in my glutes and my thighs at the 3rd kilometer was unbearable. And I was talking to myself and I'm thinking, this is just pain that's going to finish in another half an hour. What is half an hour? Listen, half an hour of pain is a lot of time. But what you're trying to say to your brain, the body listens to. So when you tell your brain, this is just temporary pain, then that pain becomes numb. So after me passing the 6th kilometer, I'm starting to look at the bright side. Hey, I finished 60% and I've endured whatever I had to endure. And I think everybody out there should look at it this way. Always, see, listen, everybody works differently. I work in a way where it's either people look at it as either the cup is half full or half empty. How you want to see it. And I look at it always like, okay, listen, I'm finished this much. I still have this bit to finish. Then the brain accepts that, all right, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Suck it up and just go. And I apply this everywhere. It's not just my fitness life, it's just even in my business, even in my communications with my daughters and how I tell them, how I teach them. It's just all about that. It's just mindset. And I can't say I learned it the easy way. I learned it the hard way.
Yeah, and what I'm really liking is, as you mentioned, it can be applicable in our work life, business life. And I play drums, and I try to incorporate, what you're saying in playing music drums as well. So absolutely spot on. Now, regarding obstacle course race, I have one question. Is there a message you'd like to share with race directors or event organizers who arrange OCR events?
Listen, if we're talking obstacle race specific, I think they need to revamp something. If now Spartan races have been out for some time, and if today I'm going to say, hey, there's a Spartan race, I don't think it's going to excite anybody, uh, because unless there's some tweak to it. Now, it differs from one person to another. Some people really love OCR. For me, now I'm into hybrid, and there is a reason why I'm into hybrid, which I think we're going to talk about later. But I think for Spartan races, like outside the UAE, they introduced the Spartan Games, for example, and the Spartan Games were exciting. I'm watching the show, and I'm like, why can't they do this here? I'd like to be part of it. It's not just running. There are other elements to it, and the brand itself was I mean, the brand Spartan, I still like it. There's something behind the brand that makes you feel the grind, makes you feel like you're tough. It toughens you up, really. Unlike Tough Mudder, or like Tough Mudder was fun.
Yeah,
uh, Desert Warrior is fun. Spartan was different. So I think if they're coming back, well, one, they need to put their judges right.
yeah,
All the volunteers need to know. You can't have people. I remember one of those events. I was doing the monkey bars, and there's a technique that is called the chicken hook or something. So if you're tired, you can go up and hook yourself, like put the bar on your
elbow.
of the elbow, and then rest while you
Yeah,
relax your wrist and go. I remember one of those judges saying, that's wrong. That's wrong. Down, down, go down. 30 burpees. I was like, what are you talking about? 30 burpees. It's monkey bars. I was like, dude, just go read your handbook. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? I
true.
ignored them. I continued my monkey bars, and I just, it's like, he doesn't know. It's fine. So like, it will be small things like that. Like, get things right. Maybe it's about location as well. I mean, one of my most memorable Spartan races was Hatta.
Mhm.
It's just the fact that you're in the mountains and you're seeing beautiful things. It's just beautiful. And I think that's what I liked most about Spartan races, or like obstacle races, just taking me out to locations where I would never normally think of going to. So it's like fitness, tourism at the same time. What's better there than that, right?
Absolutely correct here. Now, Ala, before we move on to hybrid fitness, let me read out a post that you shared via Instagram, and I want you to elaborate this to our listeners as well. So you posted the thing something fairly recently, and what it actually said, that it actually had a question that some people ask you, why do you do this? And you had a section answer where you actually typed, not for trainer, not for income. You do it for your mental and physical resilience. You do it for your beautiful family, so you are strong. And when you're 80s, you're really fit and active, fueled with entrepreneurial spirit, driven by excitement, and you love pushing your limit, and that is what makes you feel better. So why don't you elaborate this to our listeners? Because I think when I read it, I think it was absolutely beautiful, to be honest.
Listen, I okay, funny story. So I'll give you. Many people ask me, why do I do this, right? And many people say, why do you torture yourself? I'm like, why are you looking at it as I'm torturing myself? And some people get motivated. So there are two sides to the story. There are people even outside from this region. So there are people that follow me in North America, some people that follow me from South America, some people that don't even speak English, man. There are people from Brazil, from the States, and from Europe, Italians, some from Asia as well. And a lot of these people send me messages saying, please continue doing what you're doing. You inspire us. seeing you going out there and doing whatever you do, it's just like it's fantastic. And you still have a life. You have two beautiful daughters. You're just like, it's just amazing. And then you get the other side as well. The people look at you like, enough with your sports already. You know, like, okay, I understand you ran 10K, like it's a piece of cake for you, you know, whatever. But I was like, if I need to do this for other people, I won't be doing anything. And that's what I mean. Like, I'm not doing it. One, I'm not a personal trainer. People thought I'm a personal trainer. When they say you're a personal, no. Let me tell you, right now, I have Andy. He was my personal trainer. He's from Inner Fight. He's fantastic. Shout out to Andy. I had George Crew before as my personal trainer. Shout out to George Crew. He's fantastic. And before that, my very first trainer his name is Dan. He left to South Africa. Shout out. You're the first one that came up to me and said, let's do personal training. But before that, I didn't have any person. I was just doing it out of my head. Anyway, back to the story, which is, I'm not a personal trainer, so I'm not doing this to earn a living. And my Instagram page is not there so I can, get sponsors and promote products. I mean, if that happens, great, hey, whatever. But it's not my goal. My goal is to share a journey of how can someone start from, nothing. Really, I used to just lift weights, look at the mirror, take selfless selfies, and like shout when I deadlift, like, whatever, like try to make a noise. And now I don't do that. Now it's all about, let's do things right. Let's have the right form. Let's do it for fitness. Let's do it. When I say let's do it for my family, it's very important because one, you inspire your family. People see, your kids see you. And now my kids say, okay, Baba, you're going for running? So she knows I have to do this. And she goes, Baba, Mama also would exercise? Yes, Mommy will exercise. And she does exercise. So you build that mentality that exercise is part of your daily life. It's not something, listen, if we lived 2,000 years ago, where there is no desks and computers, we'd probably be farmers, and we do this for a living, so there's no need for an exercise because you're doing physical activities every day. But in today's life, you're sitting on your ass all the time. Right? Yeah. So you better be moving. So yeah, and a funny story, when I was in if you said something about my Instagram. So there's one post that I posted in my trip in Italy 2 years ago. It was mainly me carrying the kids all the time. The one is on top of my head, the other one I'm carrying the stroller, and I'm going upstairs and downstairs. I'm not complaining, but that's how I spent my vacation, But then that's because I'm fit enough to do it. So, and I'm fit enough that we can go places, and it doesn't matter. Nothing will stop us. So you live a good life if you have a healthy lifestyle. And it affects your mindset. So your mindset of that resilience, if I go back to that race, the 10K race, that mindset of like thinking the cup is either half full or half empty, up to you, but you're going to reach that goal no matter what. And that's the same thing for business. Business at some point, I do run my own business, right? At some points, right now we're doing so good, thank God. But there are times a few years ago where, when COVID hit, for example, COVID had to shake the tree, and then there are a few leaves left on the tree, and you're thinking, oh, damn, what do I do? So either go into panic mode, or you're like, let's find solutions. Like there's your mind stops thinking of I'm losing. You're just looking at the bright side of things. And everybody out there can do this. Who said, it's not, let me rephrase. So the brain is really, really a tricky part of the human body, and it's really could control you to go either forward or pushes you backwards. And how you position things, that's how it could be dangerous for you or could be inspiring for you and others. So I I do this for me because I don't need to be listening to the comments that come in. I, I had a client who, if he watches this, he's gonna know what I'm talking about. But I love him to death. Who said, I was at the gym and I was working out. I finished my workout. I was super happy about myself. I opened Instagram and I looked at your story that says, I said, I did 140 wall balls and I felt like shit. You know, and I was like, I was looking for that unfollow button. I want to unfollow you, man. I was like, dude, why are you looking at it this way? You've done your part, which is perfect. You've done the workout. So that's good. And so I take you back to the point of, if you run a 40-minute 5K, don't go and say, I want to run 20 minutes. Just take it one step at a time. Let's achieve 35, then 30, 25. You can reach a 20, trust me. It just takes time. I'm not Superman, dude. You know, like I still have a lot of learnings to do. I'm trying my best to compete with the top guys. And it just happens with the continuous training.
Yeah, and what I'm really liking is, like, you're comparing it to business, which makes perfect sense. And what I'm getting is, when you're facing problem, not only are you going to find solution, knowing what you're talking about, I think you're looking at it as an opportunity and you're using it in a positive direction. So thank you so much for sharing that information. Now, Ala, let's talk about hybrid fitness. How would you describe hybrid fitness to our listeners?
It's fantastic. It's the best thing that's ever done.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what. So hybrid fitness for me is a combination of running, which I honestly don't really like much. I mean, I appear like I enjoy running. People think I enjoy running, but it's part of my fitness journey, so I do it, and I have to master it. If something you don't like, you do more of, so you like it, or you're forced to like it.
True.
But in hybrid fitness, it combines strength training, which I really missed when I was doing the Spartan races. When you're working for an obstacle race, how many times are you going to do the obstacle? Once.
Yeah.
So if you have a wall you need to climb, it's just one wall. So you really need to be able to jump that wall once, and that's it, done. In hybrid fitness, in the different competitions, you have to do many repetitions in that specific station, and you have to be efficient at it, and you have to be strong enough to perfect it and move on to the next station with the same level of efficiency, and carry on that efficiency one station to another until you reach the final destination and achieve the goal that you have. So hybrid fitness brought me back to weightlifting, not in a sense where I'm a bodybuilder, because really nowadays I'm not like, it made me change my mindset to, I'm not working out to look good. I'm working out to feel good about myself. I'm working out to have a healthy lifestyle. I'm working out so I'm strong at functional matters rather than aesthetics. I don't want to look good. Like people tell me, oh, you've got 6 packs, you don't have to worry about things. I was like, dude, it just comes part of the package. You know, you eat healthy, you train well, that's it. I mean, it becomes a habit. You're building habits as you go. And that's hybrid fitness is really exciting. And I think you're going to be asking me maybe about High Rocks and Deca and the other events maybe. So I'll leave it up to you, but I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely, Spartan. I wanted to ask you, how many High Rocks events you have done?
So I've done 4 so far, and I just booked my 5th one.
And am I right in saying, Ala, that you've done High Rocks internationally as well?
Yes, I have. My very first High Rocks event was in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
My second was in London. 3rd and 4th are in Dubai, or were in Dubai. And then I'm not gonna go to Doha to do the 5th one. If it wasn't Doha, I was gonna book somewhere in maybe Asia. I wanted to try something in Asia other than Europe.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, but now Doha is closer, so obviously it makes sense.
I think last year they had it in Singapore as well, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes. I was gonna actually consider Singapore this year instead of Doha, but it's just almost around the same time.
Same
And yeah, when I try to book my high rocks races, I like to give at least 3-4 months window,
Yeah,
because you need to train enough to advance. If you're going for experience and just want to have fun, then sure, you can go the next month, the next week, doesn't matter. But you're not going to see significant change unless you allow yourself some time to learn, understand what went right and what went wrong, and then work on those weaknesses to make them strengths.
and how do these international events compare so far as the quality of athletes are competing?
Tough one. Listen, it's I had different experiences in 3 different countries. Obviously, the first one was, because it's the first one, I was super amazed. Like, I remember walking into the Amsterdam venue, and I was just wow. I remember I was tired. I was sort of sleepy. The minute I walked in, the vibe just like, woo! I felt the energy. I felt the
Yeah.
fire, and I was so excited. I was like, "Yeah, man, let's go!" Uh, and then the level of athletes, I honestly, it was my first time running next to a 60-year-old or something, and I've never seen this before. And they're running so efficiently, and I'm looking at them like, this guy is fast, and he's all white hair, and I've never seen this anywhere else. I was so inspired just looking at those old people competing in these events. It's like, hey, it's normal. Let me just go for high rocks.
True.
While over here, you don't see that. You don't see that. There are few older athletes that we always see them, and they always podium because they have nobody else to compete against in their age group.
Age group.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, but I'm just saying this is the reality of the situation. Over there, no man, it's different.
Different.
So I think the mindset of people over there is completely different than the mindset over here. So the level of how they take fitness, I felt there is much more respect to the sport than here. Not saying that people over here don't respect the sport, but it's just like the determination over there. They're so determined. In London was great, but I didn't have a nice racing experience because it was such a busy event. And because it was overpacked, I like in Hyrox, they give you a fast lane for faster runners, and they give a slow lane for the slower runners. Everyone was on the fast lane, so you have to run on the outer lane. And when you do that, and it's so busy, you're running more distance, which is okay. But then it's really, the traffic is so annoying, and people push you, and they're running between columns, and you can't really pick up the pace. So it's that makes you also say that also, like, listen, the quality of the race that we had in Dubai was sometimes better. So I would say Hyros is trying to keep it consistent. So there is a consistency in the races, which I feel, be it in weights, in the sleds, they're trying to unify everything, which is really great about this particular event or particular race in general. So yeah, that's it. I hope I answered your question. I don't know. Sometimes I talk even more, and I get drifted away from the topic.
No, you definitely did. Now, regarding High Rocks Dubai, you smashed the podium. What was the feeling like?
So it's great to have this here in my office behind me. uh, I kept it here if you want to ask me, because there was I have enough medals of Spartan at home, and there was a point where I was going to throw them all in the garbage. Not that I don't like them, but just like, okay, it's your house, and there are more important things to be on the wall than just medals. So instead of my wife putting this away, I thought, hey, let's put it in the office. It's cool. It's a cool background. People, it's a conversation starter sometimes when you talk to clients. Like, what is this? Let me talk to you about high rocks. Let me
Yeah.
inspire you. So yeah, it was the feeling was great, honestly. Like I went in with a target to beat my time, my previous time. I went in just to beat at each station. I had a target for that. My target was not the podium. My target was, and that's the beauty thing about, like a beautiful thing about when you podium, and your mind wasn't set for that. Because if it was set that I need to podium and I didn't podium, it's gonna leave me really upset. But when you walk in thinking, hey, it's me against me, and I need to better myself. I'm doing it for me. That's all you need to do. And then, hey, it was a nice surprise at the end when I was just like, I checked my time and I was like, hey, I'm third. My coach was there. I was like, hey, Andy, don't go anywhere. I'm third. I was like, oh, no way. So, yeah, so that was great.
Now, what I wanted to ask is a very specific thing. During the running event or during the zones, was there a specific moment or specific zone in the race you felt like things were going as planned, how you intended to be?
On the Dubai event
Yeah, the
specifically.
one where you smashed the podium. Yeah.
Okay, so the good thing about all Hyrox events is that you get a split of every station. So you can really compare apples to apples, unlike any Spartan races or Desert Warrior or anything, because it really depends on the. You could do a 5K in half an hour in Abu Dhabi, but a 5K could be 40 minutes in Ras Al Khaimah, for example, because it depends on the venue and the
Yeah.
location. But in High Rocks, it's always the same. These German brilliant guys, they calculate it in a way where it's like systematic. So I remember when I was during the race, I knew exactly, like, when I leave the sleds, if I left at X time, I know I'm ahead of my previous time by few minutes. If I finish the burpee zone at X time, I know I'm ahead of myself
Okay.
uh, in that manner. So I remember when I finished the seventh station, which was the lunges, I looked at my watch and I was like, hey, I could really beat my previous time very well. So that was, yeah, that's the indication. You look at your time and and when I so yeah, that's really how it works.
And at the High Rocks event in Dubai, Allah, was there any added motivation because the event was held in Dubai?
Yes, of course. There was some added motivation. See, ever since I started my fitness journey, ever since I went to all these obstacle races and all, I used to go with my friends that I used to compete against. It's not the same as having someone going there to support you. And in Spartan races, you start at the start line and then you vanish away, come back after a few hours. But in High Rocks, it's one centered station place where people can see you. So for the first time since, I don't know, I started my fitness journey back in, I would say, I mean, taking it seriously was in 2019, 2018. The first time my family decided we're going to come and support you. And not only that, so also my wife came, my two daughters, beautiful daughters. My daughter did a nice poster that said, "You can do it, our super dad." It was so beautiful, so beautiful. My friends came along, and I remember one of my friends, Osama, shout out to Osama. He said, "Listen, today you're going to be top five." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Listen, I'm not going to think about that." It's like, I'm telling you today, top five. Sure. And my coach was there. So Andy was there as well. Shout out to Andy again. And he was there. And I remember with everybody shouting in every station, if if I say this correctly, like you isolate everyone and you just listen to that one voice. So during every station, I was just listening to his voice. When he was saying few comments, everyone is shouting, "You can do it! Push! Yeah, one more!" And in the back of your head, you're thinking, this is just blah, blah, blah noise. I'm happy you're here. But what I'm looking for is, you're resting too long. 3, 2, 1, go. And you go. I'm looking for pull back with your hands and back. And your hands. Use your hands and your back. Step as you step back. Use your arms. You're not using your arms. Okay, I'm probably doing something wrong. When you do the burpees, get up. Just breathe, deep breath, go again. So few things, even with the wall balls. Oh man, the wall balls. Because when you reach the wall balls, that's when at the end of the race, that's when your mind is just like you're destroyed. And you have a game plan, and you try to go by the game plan, but every time that game plan goes to south. And I remember I heard two voices, my family and friends shouting, "Don't stop, God! You can do it! You can do it!" And it was that was just noise fading away. Not listening to it, and I listened to someone else saying, 5, 4, 3, 2, pick up the ball. You pick it up and you go, and you go, and when you break, the minute the ball hits, you hear 5, 4. You're just thinking, "Hey, I've got 5 seconds of rest. That's it."
Yeah.
I've got someone that I need to be accountable for this person. He's made the time, and my family as well, and my friends, they made the time and the effort to come and watch me. I better suck it up and just go. So does it make a difference? Yes, it does. In Doha, I'm going to be all alone, but I'm going to be remembering these things because I need to be accountable for all the people that believe in me and they believe I can do this. So yeah, does it make a difference? It makes a difference.
What you're saying is absolutely inspirational, and it is definitely giving me chills. Now, I'm not sure all of you watch UFC or mixed martial arts. There's this very specific moment where Leon Edwards, he was losing pretty much 99% of the moment. And his coach at that point of time started saying, you need to pull it out from the fire, son. And rather than what was happening was that, he is keeping his shoulders down. All he did, don't keep your shoulders down. And just that moment triggered it. And he had, if not one of the most iconic KOs, probably in human history. So definitely what you're saying is spot
See, I've,
on.
I've see, I've done boxing for some time. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I remember also, I had a friend of mine who's a boxer, and I was sparring with someone, and he was in my corner, and same thing. All I can hear is only his voice. Everyone is shouting, but I hear him saying, "Hands up." So you need to cover your face. And then when you start getting tired, it's like, "Cover your face, left, left," and then you need to go like, "Pop, pop, pop, pop," and then cover,
Yeah.
So, and you hear it. And then when he says uppercut, without you thinking, pop, bam. And I remember when I did that uppercut, the other dude was on the floor.
Yeah.
I can't see it, but I'm listening. I'm just obeying. So that having a coach by your side or having someone that tells you exactly what you need to do is an additional additional input that you really need and actually helps you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing at work and everywhere else. It's never a solo journey, man. Everybody that tells you, it's a solo journey, no,
Now,
it's nothing called a solo
yeah,
journey. It's either you do it together as a unit or you're out.
100% agree. And there's this iconic scene in this movie called as Warriors, where Tom Hardy, he's trying to listen to some voice, and he wants it to be his brother, but then he realizes he's actually fighting with his brother. So, what you said is definitely really, really inspirational as well. Now, what I want to ask is, Alaa, do you think the UAE could have world champions in Deca or High Rocks or any other hybrid events who are dominant champions?
Um, I think Deca was almost gonna Like it was, if Decas remained and continued, I think it would have had the chance to have a world event over here. I could see that happening. I'm not sure about Hyrox because I honestly don't know the organizers behind it well, and I don't know how they think. So it's a new sport, and so far it's always been in Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly I'm not qualified to answer that question. But do I see it happening in the future? I think so. I mean, considering how Spartan World Champs happened in Abu Dhabi for a couple of years, so I don't see why not other events could happen here. I mean, the Sports Council in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi would welcome such an idea. And I think actually the Dubai Sports Council was, from the rumors I hear, is that they were super surprised of the outcome. The people that attended the Hyrox event, it was unheard of.
Yeah.
And the second event was super busy as well. Like people loved it. So yeah, it could happen.
I think the second event, it had more than 6,000 people attending it, right?
Yeah.
And you never know, the rumors could be true, because I wouldn't be surprised if the Hyrox World Championship does actually take place in Dubai. That'll be absolutely iconic. And now, Ala, you're constantly training at an extremely high level. What I wanted to find out is, when you're, let's say, competing for an event versus when you're regular training, is there something that you do differently?
There is nothing called regular training.
Yeah, very true.
So, okay, so here is how it goes, especially for me. And I think other people should do the same thing. I think if you just work out for no specific reason or no specific goal, then you're just training.
Yeah.
And if you have a goal in mind, then your training makes sense. And then the volume of training or the type of training will translate to that goal. And that goal could be anything. I mean, my goals, I try to book events that I train for. So be it a Hyrox event, be it now tomorrow we have a race as well, the primal event, or be it a run that you want to break your personal best. So these targets should be the goals that you work towards. Some people just want to look good, but looking good by itself is not only a specific target, but say I want to look good by losing X amount of kgs and building maybe this amount of muscle mass, so I can change my waist from a 36 to 34, for example, and I need to achieve it in 4 months. I need to have that beach body, be it for females or for males, you know what I mean, whatever that is. And then it comes with not just training, because training is 20% of the formula. You still have to eat well.
Yes.
And you have to sleep, and you have to hydrate, and you have to do other things. So that goes back to me. When I train, I would say the volume of training is what differs. It's not just regular training compared to competing training. It's just the volume. As I get closer to the event, I will increase my volume. But then sometimes you reach a level of fatigue where your body is tired. So you need to deload a little bit and then go back again up. And very often I would push so hard, and then I reach that fatigue level way faster than I expected. And the body, you start seeing signs. It's like automatically you start going to the gym, and then like you can't really lift or push or as much as you're used to, and you're thinking, What's wrong with me? What happened? I used to do this easily. That's an indicator of, okay, probably you're pushing too hard. And sometimes just people really depend on these watches and these technical data. I think it's there as yeah, it could help, but if you're stuck on numbers,
Yeah.
I mean, who cares if the watch says your training volume is low? No, no, no. Listen, watch. I was deadlifting more than I used to deadlift usually, but you're picking up my heart rate. Now my heart rate is super fit. So my heart rate doesn't go as high as you want it to, because I'm just lifting 5 reps or 6 reps or maybe 3 reps. So it's the watch is not satisfied, but my body is satisfied. So that's what I mean with it. Like the volume really changes, and then when you hit that fatigue, so I usually deload, and then before the event, if I did not feel that I've reached the peak of my training, where like for example, let's take sled push for example in a high rocks. So now I'm trying the pro level. So the last high rocks I competed in was the pro level, and in the pro level is different than the open, where the weights are much heavier. You need to be comfortable pushing these weights and then running and pushing the weights. And in my last race, I was, even though I was really training hard for it, it was my first time experiencing it, and I realized, wait, there's a lot more to learn. So leading to that race, I realized in our training in the sled push, I wasn't pushing hard enough heavy weights. So the weight is 175 kg of plates plus the sled itself, which is about 25 kg. So it's in total, let's say it's 200 kgs, right? So I used to train a lot with 150, 160, 175, 180 max. And then I was talking to my coach. I was like, listen, dude, we need to reach the 200s. I need to push more. So when I go to event day, I'm feeling this is easier. And yeah, so that's when you push really hard before the event if you realize you haven't trained enough. But now we're training hard from the beginning. So now we're trying a different formula where we're pushing really hard now, even though the race is in May. But let's see if I don't fatigue sooner.
Yeah, and what you're saying, does make a lot of sense regarding body getting fatigued. And I did have an interview with Ryan Atkins, the greatest of all time so far as obstacle course race is concerned, and he mentioned something about OTS, that is overtraining syndrome. That
Mm.
a lot of them I need to identify in order to make peak performance. Now, what I wanted to ask is, Allah, how do you identify when you're reaching peak performance? Are there a couple of metrics that you tend to look at?
Listen, the body gives you signals all the time.
Yeah.
There are signs that you feel all the time, and sometimes we overlook it. Sometimes we think, it's all right. It's just a, pain in the calf. It's all right. It will go away. You need to listen to your body, and the older you get, the more you need to listen to your body.
Yes.
So I'm in my 40s now, so I can't just go to the gym and lift heavy immediately. My warm-up process takes a long time until I reach that heavy weight that I need to lift. And I remember a month and a half ago, I was during a track session. I was running fast, and I felt that slight pain in my calf, and I was like, "Man up! It's all right. Go for it." I wish I didn't. I wish I stopped, because that led to a tear in my muscle, and
Okay.
that when I tore my muscle, uh, that led to me stop running for another 2 weeks for it to heal. So yeah, the body gets fatigue, and you get the signals, and you just need to listen.
And regarding High Rocks event that is coming up, how is your preparation going on? And you're definitely participating in it, right?
Yeah, the one in Doha. Yes, I mentioned I booked my ticket again for the pro division. Um, there are specific stations that I'm trying to really develop my fitness at and become better at. So how am I going about it? I'm going heavy. So I'm going heavier than expected, heavier than race day for everything. Still a bit slow. Like for example, if we take sled push or sled pull or whatever, and then you realize hurdles as you go. Like sometimes when you're pushing really heavy on the sled, it's like, okay, all of a sudden your footwear matters. It's like, okay, you're starting to slip, so I need to maybe change my shoe. Sled pull as well. Sometimes, like, 2 days ago, I was just not going anywhere. I just need to use my arms because my legs are slipping. The wall balls, how can I get better at wall balls? Like every week, I'm doing 150 wall balls, for example, in one session. So go heavy, heavy, heavy. Push more. Get used to that pain. Get used to that feeling of, it hurts, but it's all right. And then understand how much rest you need. So every time you calculate, that's just, when I say you go in, like, remember I mentioned I go in with a game plan for the wall balls, but then that game plan doesn't work because it depends how you tackle the wall balls in your training. Sometimes you tackle it from, okay, I was resting, and now let me do 100 wall balls. Yeah, okay, sure, you can do that. I could do maybe 40 at one go, and then rest for a few seconds, and then go for another 20, and the rest. Yeah, but because you started at heart rate that is, comfortable. But what race day, you're already in that orange zone. You're already like at threshold. So you reach there, your heart is, and it's just, there's not enough energy even in your body. So you can't start and do 40. So let's be realistic. What can you do? 25? Stop at 25. And then how much rest you need. So this is what we're trying to do now, and trying to understand and try to get the right formula for each station.
Now, Al, I'm going to put you on the spot. What would be your prediction time for High Rocks in Qatar?
Okay. I don't know. but I would like to be, so see, listen, when I did the pro division, the pro race in Dubai the first time, I went in with the mindset of, let's go in, let's have fun, enjoy myself, and let me see what I can do. I finished the race with the same time that I've managed in the open in my first High Rocks. So I was super happy because if I at the beginning, I started, and this is the level where I was at with the open weights, and then I matched it with the pro weights. That means my next stage would be, what did I do? How did I better myself in the open? Let me better myself in the pro at the same level. If I can shave off like 3 minutes and be at the same level of that open level, then that's all I need. And I'll be happy about it. And then the race after it, you say, let's shave off another 2 to 3 minutes and see. I mean, I'm trying to be realistic. If I say I want to shave off 6 minutes, I'm just lying to myself, and I'll be disappointed at the end of the day. And it's not about it. It's just like, maybe you need to, again, work on how can I keep myself motivated? Like I said, so you're doing it for yourself.
I wouldn't be surprised, Al, if you smash the podium once again. Now,
I can use another flag somewhere here.
Now, Ala, in your fitness journey, be it obstacle course race, ultra running, or hybrid events, can you take us to a dark moment where things didn't go as per planned, and how did you overcome it?
So there is one DECA event. It was, I think, DECA Fit. And I don't know what happened. Usually things like training for the event was going so well. Right. And I mean, DECA Fit is only 500 meters run between every station. So it's fairly easy, like 2 minutes run, that's it, done. But then I remember I was with a bunch of friends competing against each other that we train with all the time. And I had my chest strap on. And I remember that was the last time I put my chest strap while racing. I've decided this is it. That's the end. Because when I finished the first run, we did the first station. Then the second run, I felt something is tight on my chest and I can't breathe. And I didn't know what it is because I always train with my chest strap. And I didn't change the tightness. And I remember after the third station, I was like, there's something wrong. Someone is like choking me from my chest and I can't push anymore. So I started walking. And I remember George Crew was, I was still training with George then. And he saw me and he looked at me. He's like, he told me later on, he's like, I was thinking, fuck, this guy really hurt himself bad. And I just didn't know what to do. And I walked a little bit. And then I told the organizer, I can't do this. And he's just like, listen, do the next station, see how you feel, and let's talk after. So I just removed that strap, chest strap, heart rate strap, just threw it out. And I kept running. I was like, screw the data. Who cares about the data? Just go by the flow. And I went in, enjoyed myself, and I continued. I remember that day. Like I went in with high expectations for that race because I was really well fit for that race. And it's just, so that's when technology works against you. Like
Yeah.
you're thinking you need all the data in the world to understand, and really you don't. So now, when I do the Hyrox events, you do it indoors. So this watch doesn't pick up your pace. It says I'm running 6 minutes per kilometer. Well, I know I'm going a lot faster. But I use a different heart rate monitor, which I put on my arm. And I use it as an indicator only for, can I push more or less?
Okay, yeah.
So that's it. So I look at my watch. If I see orange color, where that needle is pointing, is it pointing to orange? It means I'm where I need to be. If I'm in the red, I can't sustain this for longer. If I'm in the green, push, Mr. Akawi, push,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the moments. And I remember also, I think I mentioned to you running the 10K race when I got that pain in my glutes, and I was thinking, man, this really hurts. This really hurts. And it's just a matter of talking to yourself, thinking, get over it. Stop thinking about the pain. Look at other things. Look at the people around you. Look at the scenery. Look at the, I don't know, positiveness.
Those are definitely interesting stories, and the way you're handling it is definitely inspirational as well. Now, Anna, you briefly talk about nutrition in your Instagram post, but listen, we are both past 40s, and I got to ask this to you personally as well. How important is 8 hours worth of sleep? And are there any tips you'd like to give to our listeners and to myself as well regarding sleep?
I don't sleep 8 hours. I wish I sleep 8 hours. Try to have 2 kids and life, and no, it doesn't work this way. Listen, about this 8 hours, and I'm not a believer of, you need X amount of time to sleep. I think it's just, you need to rest well to recover well. So you touched base on 2 points. There's nutrition and there is sleep. Let me just talk about sleep, then we'll go to nutrition if you don't mind. So in sleep, I anything below 6 hours is a problem, because I think like below 6 hours is not enough rest time for the body to recover, and really your body really heals itself when you're sleeping. You build muscle when you're sleeping, and you need that. Sleeping more than 7 hours, I think, is just pointless at this stage. You're missing out on life.
Yeah.
You're missing out on life. It's just, it's not just fitness. There are so many, beautiful things you can do with your kids, with your wife, with your life. Waking up early is such a blessing. You enjoy the day from the beginning. I mean, the people that like to wake up at 11 o'clock, I'm just thinking, dude, your day is gone.
Exactly, yeah.
What are you doing? Like, and I sleep at 3 o'clock in at night. Like, why would you want to sleep? This, let's go back a few 1,000 years back and whatever, before the age of computers and everything. People never had these luxuries of watching Netflix or likes of that. People slept normally, and because of the lack of, not lack, because today actually we have all these devices. These devices give us a lot, like all of that screen time. It just messes with your brain.
Yeah.
So if I read a study where back in the days, they used to sleep 6 hours. The farmers, for example, sleep 6 hours, 6.5 hours, 7 hours at max, and they feel so refreshed, energized, and they go back to the field and they keep working. And these guys, listen, they don't think about retirement. Retirement is something that we think about because we want to be lazy. We want to sleep more. But hey, we humans were not built for that. We were built to keep working. This engine shouldn't stop. And that's when I say, why do I train? I train so I can keep this engine going. It's my mission in life that I want to be 80 and I'm still competing on whatever competitions are out there, be it Hyrox, be it Spartan, be it whatever. I want people to see me and say, look at that 80-year-old man. If he can do it, I can do it. And I'll be like, yes, Mr. 15-year-old, you can do it because I am still doing it. You know what I mean? So sleep is, it is important, but oversleeping is a problem. Today, at my age, honestly, if I oversleep, I wake up with a headache. I'm like, why does my head hurt? Because, listen, there is also a cycle of sleep, and this is what people don't understand. And when I say people, it's someone very close to me. If she hears this, she's going to hate me for life. But yeah, it's like there's a cycle to sleep. When you go into deep sleep, and you wake up, your brain is awake now. So you force yourself again to go back into this level of deep sleep. You need to complete the cycle. If you break the cycle halfway, you wake up with a headache. And it's like, no, dude, khalas, you got up. You've got enough sleep. Your body is saying, wake up, get up. So if it's 7 o'clock in the morning, that's at the end of the cycle. That's it. Done. Your body's fresh. You want to force it to go back. I need another half an hour. And then someone wakes you up. You go from the REM and deep sleep, and then I wake you up in deep sleep. You're gonna wake up grumpy. You're tired. That's just wrong. So yeah, I think I sleep until I wake up. When I open my eyes, that's it. Get up.
Yeah. And what you said is so beautiful because you mentioned about waking up early in the morning. Now, Alaa, I have another podcast called Blockchain DXP where I interview CEOs, CTO, founders. Some of them are multi-billionaires as well. One commonality which I found with them is every one of them wake up at 4 o'clock, and the very first thing they do is they go out for a run. They don't miss it even a single day. Another thing which I found out is that all of them are actively involved in some sports. It could be, let's say, boxing or watching UFC. Most of them, I follow them on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. They often post about sports related things first, then they talk about business. So what you're saying is absolutely spot on and correct. Yeah.
It's a mindset. See, so you need to train your mind first, and then when you build that mindset, everything follows. So and you asked me also about nutrition. So if you want me to answer about that now, I think I posted once about nutrition. I don't really post much about food. I get asked a lot about what do I eat, and I openly answer. It's a very boring subject because I'm on a routine. I eat the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Like even at home, like for dinner, they ask me, "So what is it today? Is it this or that?" If it's just they know, and if it's not lentil, if it's not chickpeas, then it's lentil. It's chickpeas. And okay, let me order. I'll order some. I'll order a pasta or I'll order a salad or whatever. But listen, my food is I would eat solid food 4 to 5 times a day, and I get 2 protein shakes as well. That's the only supplements I take. I don't take much supplements. I take sometimes some multivitamins. That's about it. But food, I keep it simple. I eat 5 eggs almost every day. Um, Not almost every day, actually every day. And then like lunch will always be some. It has to be have a mix between carbohydrates and chicken. Lots of chicken. I eat lots of chicken.
Yeah.
Then snacks will be. I eat dates. I eat fruits and stuff. Dinner is, like I mentioned, one of these options. But again, it's about building these habits. Like this food became a habit. It's a habit for me not to eat junk food. It's a habit for me not to eat processed food. Um, I look at it. They tell me like, you don't crave chocolate. It's like, no, I don't. Do I want to eat chocolate? Yeah, sure. Sometimes when I have my coffee, I don't mind like a bar. I would go to the supermarket. I'll buy like, I don't know, Galaxy or whatever it is. Actually, I like something with walnuts or whatever, hazelnuts. And if I get the big bar, then I eat a small bite, and that's it. Like, I call my kids, here you go. You want some chocolate? you know, and it's not because it's. I don't look at it from it's healthy or unhealthy. I just look at it just. I built that mindset that or habit that this is not gonna get benefit me much. It's just sugars. Do I need the sugar? Yeah, I do. And where do I have my sugar? I like sugar in my tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like. There is sugar everywhere. There's sugar in bread sometimes. So I would buy bread that is tasty, even and I know it has sugar. I don't care. It's fine. I don't stop myself from eating now. So that's what I tell people. I was like, listen, I reached a level in my fitness journey where I don't worry about what I eat. So if you tell me today, let's go out eat Italian, let's go eat Italian. Do you want to share a pizza? Let's share a pizza. What are you having? I'll have a pizza and pasta. All right, let's go. It's fine. It's extra calories. Who cares? You want to have a burger? Sure, I'll have a burger. But when I have a burger, that's the thing is, like when you have greasy food, and the reason why I stopped it and I stopped alcohol altogether is just because the way it makes me feel the next day,
Yeah.
is what matters. If I tell me today, let's go have a burger, I'd be like, listen, do I have to train in the morning? If I do, there's no way I'm eating junk food.
Yeah.
Did I finish a hard workout today and tomorrow is my rest day? Tonight I'll eat a burger with you, not a problem, because tomorrow I'm not training. Let's junk the hell out of it. Give me that Pepsi, give me that, French fries. That's no problem. But I don't stop myself from eating these food, because also the body needs a shock. You need to shock your system. Like, hey, it's not just clean. Sometimes you need to get some rubbish in to say, hey, there's a party happening over here.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts about coffee, Alaa? The reason I wanted to ask you about coffee is because in a fight, they have actually released a podcast, discussing coffee and the impact on ultra running.
Coffee as in general, listen, I used to not drink coffee. I
Okay.
never had coffee until 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, I started drinking coffee. It was funny that I was in a furniture store and my wife was just looking around and I saw someone from Nespresso. I had a nice conversation with him. He gave me the strongest coffee he had. And from there, he gave me one after another and I kept on tasting it. And he told me why I need to drink water after it. And I was like, I like that feeling. And then I started drinking coffee. Now, at the beginning, coffee used to give me a kick.
Yeah.
So the caffeine in it gives you that boost that you need to, like exercise and whatever. But at the same time, I don't know why coffee makes you want to go to the toilet, man. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. I don't like it. But what do I think about coffee? Coffee is just like, honestly, like today, it's sometimes a conversation starter. So it's like more of a social thing rather than I don't drink coffee for hey, I'm sleepy, I'm gonna have a shot of coffee to wake up. It's not gonna wake me up. It's just like, let's have a coffee because I want to chat to someone. I'm gonna wake up. Let's make it social. So that's a nice thing about coffee. It brings people together.
Yeah, true. That is definitely a good take. Now, Alaa, I wanted to have a quick chat about Artology Creative. You're the founder and executive director, and I follow you on LinkedIn. And you posted via LinkedIn that you have revamped your website with videos and animation. So, can you tell our listeners a bit more about Artology Creative? And it's a really interesting name, by the way.
Oh, thanks. So Artology basically, the name came from art meeting technology. Yeah, and this is a story not many people know about Artology, which is we started off back in 2013 as a company that sells animated art. So the story goes back where I used to work in TV stations all my life. I used to be in the creative department all my life. I studied animation and directing, so I have this love for telling stories through the mediums of video and animation. And I come from a family that they're artists. So we used to go to art galleries and look at, we have family, friends that are artists and all. So one of these days in 2013, I was looking at this one painting of a lady. She was sitting on a bench. She looked so upset. And there was a pigeon on her head. And I'm just thinking, I wish she could just, wave her hand for that bird to fly away. She could smile, and the bird will come back on her head, and she'll be upset again. And that was it. Boom. And I was like, let's create animated art.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, now in the age of AI, you listening to this story, you're thinking, I can prompt something on AI to give me an animated painting. But back then, this was like unheard of. So I remember I started my research and tried to find, because these paintings are like on big canvases. It's like, what can I do? How can I get that big screen that is not so expensive? And also back then, hey, you try back then, buy an 82-inch screen. 82-inch screen, it's like at least 100,000 dirhams. You know what I mean? Like if you walk into the house and see a big screen, like, damn, man, you're rich. So you need to think of all of those things. So I did my research. I spoke to factories in China, tried to get some screens over here, and I looked at a famous artist that I can animate their art. So I picked a family friend who was his name is Safwan Bahoul, a very famous Syrian artist, and we worked together on animating his art. It was such a success, honestly. Everybody loved it. He loved it. His agent loved it. We went to Art Dubai, and we had 3 editions. It was sold out in like 45 minutes, honestly. So that was the birth of Artology, and so we wanted art and technology to meet together. But I couldn't neglect my passion for creating commercials, telling stories through the video or animation. So we had 2 divisions in the company, and sadly, the art division just had to take a pause because of technology becoming cheap and becoming accessible for everybody. So it made no sense to sell art at whatever price tag we had, despite the artists that we worked with. But then but since then, we changed the formula of Artology. So now today, Artology is a creative content creation studio. We help our clients we help our clients deliver their stories in the best way possible in the mediums of either video, live action, or animation. So we cover, in terms of animation, we do 2D, 3D, motion graphics, you name it. And there's a lot of explainer videos, corporate videos, how-tos, all done in animation. And also in terms of live action, we do TV commercials from high budgets, talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, and then hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you can talk about medium-sized projects of commercials and corporate films and promotional videos and all. So we've been in the business for 10 years, and you mentioned the website. So we keep on leveling up our game. We keep an eye on technology and what's out there, and it's all about now user experiences. You get, I mean, people my age are used to certain things, but the new generation, they look for different websites, different user interfaces. So you need to, be ahead of the game. You need to be present, and you need to, that's why we launched our new website, and that's what we do for Artology. And Artology has been really, really, really. I mean, I don't talk about it much on my Instagram, and if I say the truth, I thought at the beginning when I started my Instagram page is that I will use that medium to promote Artology, so build that database, and then let's inject my page slowly with some work from Artology so I can let people know about this. But I do it sometimes. I now try not to mix my personal life and my professional life. It's funny because sometimes when I talk to clients and they're like, "Hey, let's follow you," and they follow me on LinkedIn. I'm in my nice shirt. I look professional, and then like, but hey, there's someone that looks like he was shirtless on Instagram. Like, yeah, that's me. That's me as well. You can have two sides to the story, the yin and yang.
Now, how important, is video and animated content in 2024 and beyond?
Ah, man. You are having me as a guest on a video platform.
Yeah.
People can listen to this on Spotify, I'm sure, but also I think people will like to watch this stuff. I watch podcasts. Sometimes I play, or let's take podcasts as an example. I would play a podcast from YouTube while I'm driving. I don't have to see it, but sometimes I like to see the reaction. I like to feel, I feel more connected than just listening to someone in my ears. So Instagram, look at Instagram. Instagram started as an image platform. And now all they're pushing is they want people to post reels. They want video content. Facebook, same thing. So you realize the drive is always going through video. Posts or static pictures will never die, but communicating stories through video has been increasingly wanted in the market. People have more tendency to react to a video than they react to a static. And not just any videos. Also, there is a trick now. So now you need to be up in the game where you know how to deliver the message, excite people, and get them hooked from the beginning. Like I'm sure now with the podcasts, not all podcasts are successful for maybe whatever, for different reasons. But if you want to get a successful podcast, you need to excite people from the beginning. Tell them something exciting so they can get the hook. And we keep on educating ourselves to how can we tell the stories in the best way possible, and how can we be efficient and ahead of our game. So let's take AI, for example. Now everybody's afraid of AI. Oh my God, AI is there and it's going to change the world. And yeah, it is going to change the world to the better, because all these tools are there to make our lives better. And see, I'm trying to connect things. How I was talking about fitness and the mindset, and you can be afraid of AI and say, I'm going to lose my job, or you can say, I'm going to master that craft. So our AI still needs me, because AI can't run by itself. AI is just a functionality that either you run it, or it gives you a standard prompt, a standard feature, or a standard result, or that anybody can get. So So is video telling very important? Yes, it is. We've been working with clients that actually want us to come up with a video concept that actually is the hero, is the mother, the umbrella, the big idea is coming from a video, and then that idea is implemented everywhere else. So their emailers, their posts, their statics, their billboards all follow that big idea that is a video first. So video first, everything follows. And that's what we're trying to do, and that's the formula where we're pushing with. So yeah, it's very important. Do I see it dying? No, no, hell no. But do I see us going in the right direction? I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. And I do have a very specific question regarding AI and what your business is doing. But I just wanted to share that, I tend to follow Facebook's actual financial summary. And in that financial summary, they have actually mentioned that the user engagement has increased by 80%. That is because of the Reels feature. And that is just going back to the last 6 months. What you're saying is absolutely spot on. Now, regarding AI, we briefly touched base upon. What I wanted to ask and get your opinion is, how can we still maintain the human element so far as artificial intelligence is concerned, and keeping in mind, Artology Creative? What are your thoughts on that?
The AI is, people are afraid that AI will replace jobs and will replace people. To a certain extent, yes, it could, and it will. But if you teach yourself to learn that AI is just a tool to help you advance in your career and build better content, because listen, AI, we use AI in our field for imagery and for content, but there is AI in blockchain, right? There's AI everywhere. So AI is just very generic. AI actually was there since the beginning of time. It's like now only with the launch of ChatGPT, people started getting afraid. Oh my God, AI is going to destroy everything. AI. People were oblivious about AI, but AI existed. What do you think? Right? The CIA, the the police,
100%,
they all have AI. It exists. But now that it's open to the public, people started to get afraid. And is it developing quickly? Yes, it is. So what we do is just we try to learn the software. And I'm calling it the software because it's a feature that we use to our advantage. Like last year, we worked with on a project for Dubai tourism. It's called Dubai E-Games Festival. You can see it on our website. So that project, we had a very tight deadline to develop and to produce that project. And it was, if we had to go the traditional way, we had to draw every frame, and it's like, it's going to take us months to complete. But we had 3 weeks to do everything. And I mean, listen, people from outside our business, they think 3 weeks might be too much, but 3 weeks is actually nothing when you want to develop something of that richness. So we studied AI and tried to see, okay, how can we use AI in the best way possible? And how can we shoot something that once we feed it to AI, we get the results that we want? Obviously, there's a lot of try and error, but I think when we reached what we accomplished and then we showed the client, it was one of those few moments, when you get your office rings and the doorbell rings, and then you open it and then you see a present and it says, "Thank you, Team Artology, for the hard work." That's what we got for that project, because we understood the time frame, the sensitivity, and we used AI, and the client was super happy, even knowingly that we were using AI, because everybody thought AI is a click of a button. But no, if you know how to use the tool, and if you know how to master the tool, then you become a pro. And that's what we try to do, is educate yourself, keep educating yourself, keep training.
Absolutely spot on. And regarding AI, regarding Artology Creative, is there a specific age group or category or sector of business that you're more catered towards that?
We're business to business model. We're not business to consumer model. So usually if it's a B2C, then the budgets are low, and we're not that company. I'm not saying it in an offensive way, but it's just like we have a positioning in the market, and that's where we're working towards. See, we don't have a specific sector that we're focusing on right now, because our clients vary from tourism. So we have lots of tourism. We do food. And also under tourism, we cover food aspects. We work with sustainable companies that will look after the environment and all, which is really an educational journey. Like working, I think one of the things I really love about our business It's just the amount of proposals or like projects that we get that people want to explain to the public. You start looking at projects thinking, wow, man, there are some brilliant brains out there.
Yeah.
And getting to the exposure and the knowledge is beautiful. So back to your sectors. Also, we do sports. And lots of governmental work.
Okay.
So, but it's just we can categorize it differently. Like there are in the video world, so there are like the TV commercials, which everybody goes out and does, right? Do the commercials. Like in terms of production companies, which we don't like to call ourselves a production company. We're a content creation studio because sometimes we collaborate with production companies we hire them to do the work for us. We're the creators that come up with a big idea. And coming up with a big idea for us is more important than actually producing the work ourselves. We're big believers of let's share the cake than having all of it. It's fine if we have a piece of the cake as long as we're getting more work and we're doing multiple of those. But so we try to do more of the corporate work, if that's what I'm trying to say. So corporate films, corporate promotional videos, corporate commercials. That's from the corporate side. And from the fun side, the sports is fun. Tourism is fun. So we have that, but the beauty of that is just like we've got the mindsets that in the team. So we have the creators that think corporately, and we have the team that want to have fun. So you can speak to the animators. They're like, oh my God, let's talk color. Let's talk, imagine things flying and whatever, and boom and that, and Avengers this, and Superman that, and whatever. It's like, okay, all right, amazing. And you get the corporate people that just always think of, okay, what's the messaging that we're trying to say? Let's go back to the marketing objectives. Let's focus on goals, and they're very oriented, which is good, a good mix. And I think the way we're operating now is it's more like a creative agency, but in a smaller scale that is just focused on creating content.
And for our international audience who are into fitness, if you want to check what work he does, definitely check out Alaa's Instagram videos. These are iconic. Two videos which stand out to me and which I've tried is one where you were doing burpees and the background keeps on changing. I was like, how is he doing that? And the second one, Alaa, where I think it was in a fight. You guys were at Wadi Shauka and they're going down the stairs.
Oh yeah, so those two videos. Okay, fun story. So let's talk about Wadi Shauka first. So Wadi Shauka, we were just a big group, and we ran up these stairs, right? Yeah. So once we reached up the stairs, I was like, we have to do something cool, guys. Like we were all standing here together, and this is never gonna happen again. So immediately I thought, stop motion. Let's do stop motion. I was like, come here, George, stand. Tick, take a picture. Go down a couple of steps. Tick, couple of steps. Tick, couple of steps. Tick. Okay, move. Radha, come here. Tick, tick, tick. Flow, come. Tick, tick, tick. And one by one, got all these guys, and everyone is looking at me like, hey, we need to go back to Dubai. It's enough. I was like, no. You'll thank me later. It was a nice project. It happened on the spot. The best ideas sometimes are just genuine ideas that just click. For the burpees, I was in the Maldives, and I enjoyed my run over there. And then all of a sudden I thought, you know what, how can I show all these places to these people in a nice way? And I thought, that's it, let's do burpees. And it was funny because every time I'm running, I stop in the middle of the road. I put the phone, I count my steps. 1, 2, 3. Phone in this way. Don't tilt too much. And go backwards. 1, 2, 3. Now take a step to the side. And now burpees. Pop, tap, 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 tap. And people look at me and like, what is this guy doing? And then I'll run a couple of steps and I'll do it again. And I'll do it again. And do it again. And the editing was easy. Just on my phone at night. I mean, there's nothing much to do over there at night. Edit. All right, done. Let's go.
What I'll do is, I'll definitely go ahead and put your Instagram ID in the show notes below. So pretty much your listeners would love to follow you on Instagram. Now, I have 2 non-fitness questions. The first one is your favorite genre of music, or any specific genre of music do you like?
So it's funny you say this because music changes, man, as you grow older. And it's funny because 2 weeks ago I was having this conversation actually with our creative director here at Artology, where he was. We play music in the office every day, so it's like we have speakers and everyone listens to music. Whatever you feel like, you go there, you put your playlist, and this is like it's a shared open space. If there is no music, we stand up like, guys, what's wrong with you? Why are you upset? Let's play some music. Let's spice it up. So we play house music, we play chill out music, we play some, I don't know. Oh, the light is backward. Okay. We play some Oriental stuff. It's just like background music that is nice to have.
Yeah.
And I like to listen to this music even between me and myself. So there's that sort of music that you listen to while you're working, which is cool. But then when I was a kid, and I told this our creative director, I'm sure you're a hip hop guy. He's like, yes, I am a hip hop guy. I was like, I relate because the way you're reacting to this music is just how I used to react to music when I was a kid. Because I used to make fun of my friends that used to like techno and trance and whatever. I'm like, dude, how do you dance to the music? All you go is just like,
Yeah.
While with hip hop, you need to like, you need to dance. You need to show me the move, man.
True.
Come on, groove with it, So, and that's where breakdancing comes in play. So yeah, I still like hip hop. I don't fancy music beyond the year 2000. Anything after 2000, it's just like whatever.
It's too artificial, isn't it? And mechanical.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, today I just listen mostly to chill out music and relaxing stuff.
That's great to know. And is there a person you admire in life?
There are a lot of people. There are family members that they inspire me every time, where what they have achieved in their life. My father is one of them. He's coming from a graphic designer, my father started as a graphic designer and then reaching where he reached to be the CEO of one of the biggest publishing companies in UAE. He's retired now. But see him reach that place, it means anybody can do anything. My older brother that is now taking the company after my father. I mean, not because it was given to him. No, he's actually got it as he deserved it, and he bought the company. And yeah, he comes out of no educational or like high educational background, and he made it. So those people really inspire me to say anything is possible. In the fitness world, it's a lot of people, and I can't mention names because really there are specific people that inspire me in specific aspects of the sports. And yeah, I mean, David Goggins is one of them.
Oh, definitely, yes. Yeah. Who's going to carry the boat?
Exactly, man.
Thank you so much for that. And finally, Alaa, as we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience, whether it is about your journey or upcoming race or any events that you're excited about?
I mean, we have tomorrow. We have the Spartan Race. I'm doing it with a group of 3. It's one of the toughest races, honestly. Like High Rocks is tough, but High Rocks, you need to work at 80%, 85% to maintain that pace. But when you're working with partners, you have to work at 120% every time you go.
Yeah.
So it's just like all out, and it hurts. We've done it before, and we were number 4, and still we are in the ranked number 4 in their global ranking. So yeah, that's going to be fun. For the audience, what do I want to say? I mean, listen, thank you for watching this. If you reached this far in the podcast, this is amazing. I don't know. I think we've been going for more than an hour. I salute you. I hope you enjoyed this. And I thank you dearly for this. I would say, listen, reach out to me if you need any advice. I'm open. I'm friendly with anybody. And yeah, listen, I think your audience should just, if anything, if any advice is there, it's just like, don't set high goals, don't set yourself to failure from the beginning. Just take it one step at a time. And if you take it one step at a time, then you can reach where you want to reach faster than you imagined. If you work a little bit and stop for longer and then start, punishing yourself because I did not do the work, then you're not going to go anywhere. Just take it easy on yourself. Life is too short. We are not full-time athletes. Full-time athletes will not be listening to this because I am just another regular guy like anybody else who has a life, has kids, has a family, has a wife, has a business, and we try to do the best we can just to enjoy this life.
That is beautifully said. And, Alaa, thank you so much for doing this session. Really, really appreciate it. And as I mentioned, you're one of the reasons why we actually went ahead and started this podcast as well. And you're on the top tier list of athletes. And based on the interaction, with what we are having, I definitely put the title From Grit to Greatness. And I definitely hope, you smash the High Rocks event in May and also the event tomorrow as well. So thank you so very much, brother, for doing this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice one.
Have a nice one. Cheers.